Hi guys, my name is Isa. Welcome to my channel. I want to talk to you about the person that you like being confused about you. Let's get started. I want to say this is a type of confusion that comes up whenever someone is trying to break up with you. What do I mean by that? They're trying to break up with you or let you know that things are not going to work, and the excuses that they're giving you just don't make any sense. And you find yourself feeling like you have to almost convince them, almost clear out their mind because they appear to be so confused. I was just reflecting on how the version I am today feels very okay with people leaving her life. Like, I don't even think I would fight anyone. I would be like, okay, bye. And all of these instances popped up in my mind, and I remembered I wasn't always this version of myself. I used to try to convince people into staying in my life. And I want to talk about it because I feel like it is more common than I think, and someone might relate. So I've had 3 experiences where this has happened, and I feel like all of them were like a little bit different from each other. I will go over the 3 of them, so bear with me. The first example I have was with my first situationship, my first and my last. This was a few months ago, like over a year ago, I believe. I had this thing with this guy, which I was okay with it because at that moment I wasn't really looking for a relationship, so that was just perfect in my mind. It comes to the point where he starts being inconsistent with his texting, the way that he's talking, and I can just definitely feel a change in his vibe. If I were to have something with this person and I notice inconsistency, I would just directly ask. However, a year ago, I just went like, I think I'm confused, and just trying to play it cool just because I didn't know how to bring it up. He starts giving me a list of reasons of why he thinks we're just not going to work out, basically. You could just tell it was lies. He was telling me something followed by the complete opposite, where he was telling me something that he had previously told me just didn't work in his mind. I'm confused. And because I felt confused, I thought, poor guy, he must be confused. Like, he's giving me all of these reasons, all of these objections of why we can't keep talking, of why we can't be together. And they just don't seem like legitimate reasons for me. So let me just clarify it for him. Let me just untangle his brain because he seems to be overthinking about this, and he seems to be so confused, and he's about to give up when I don't really think he has a good enough reason to give up. Like, I definitely feel like we could make it work. That's my mindset. Literally, I just want to like strangle myself. Like, why am I doing that? Why am I thinking that? Anyway, I remember I was about to work. Like, I was just 10 minutes away from my shift. That is like the worst kind of shift you can have, having your situationship break up with you 5 minutes before you clock in. I just remember texting him, okay, tell me fast, do you want to fix this or not? And I sent that just so that I knew what kind of conversation we would have later. Tell me why this guy is like, I don't know. Not even I don't know, guys. IDK. I'm not gonna trash talk that past version of myself because I found myself attached. And I feel like when you're attached with someone, it just kind of makes sense. You just don't have a reason to not believe whatever they're telling you. You don't have a reason to believe that they don't like you because so far you've seen this person demonstrate interest, or you're experiencing mixed signals, which are just a little bit more confusing to you. And especially if you don't have a strong self-concept, I find it very easy for you to just fall into that trap of, let me convince this person that this is worth it. You know, let me break down every problem he has. Let me give him a solution for each problem so that he can see that he has nothing to worry about and we belong together, or we can be together and we can keep this going and whatever. Looking back and just reflecting on my behavior. And you know, I'm not gonna feel shame. I just wouldn't do that again. So I don't see the point of shaming a past version of myself. I feel like I would rather reflect on my past instead of shaming any past version I've been. I would rather reflect on it and grow and be compassionate and understanding, because at that moment I was so triggered, I was so attached, I was so anxious. It just felt right. And I'm just so glad that I've grown so much to the point where I'm not going to shame myself. And if you feel like shaming yourself about doing that, I just want you to consider how shaming yourself does nothing. If anything, it makes you feel worse about yourself and makes you feel so bad about your past experiences. I feel like your bad experiences are already bad enough. You might as well just learn from them and just not repeat the same mistakes. So there's no shaming in this channel. There's no shaming yourselves. There's no shaming me. Anyway, as I was saying, when I look back, I'm like, what do I mean by do you want to fix this or not? What is there to fix? This person's disinterest? That's not a problem. That's just a fact. They're just not interested. There's nothing for me to fix. Now, why was it hard for me to see that this person wasn't interested in me? Because as I said, I experienced this person showing me that they liked me, and then I experienced mixed signals. Now, I recently watched a TikTok video that said, he's not giving you mixed signals, he just doesn't like you. And I think that's so true. In that moment, I was so confused because he was trying to play it as if he still liked me, but he just wasn't able to make it work, but he really liked me. And I just couldn't see past that. I just couldn't see past that mixed signals because I kept excusing his behavior. It made sense in my mind. Now that behavior doesn't make sense to me. So I asked myself, if I could go back and I could change my answer, what would I write? And I started writing on my journal, and I am going to read what I wrote just so you can understand my thought process. I've been very open about communicating, so I'm confused on why you're acting like that and saying those things when you can just straight up tell me. Telling me you'll see me in your free time while at the same time complaining you have none, and calling this a friendship when we discussed how guys and girls can't be friends just tells me you can't be honest, or you don't want to be honest with what's really going on, or you just can't be bothered enough to come up with a decent excuse that makes sense. Both guys who can't be direct and lie are unattractive to me, and unfortunately, you happen to be both. As I was writing it, I was like, this will show him. But then as I was getting closer to the end, I was like, that would be a really long text message. Do I really want to send that to a guy? Do I really want to put myself in a position where I'm sending this huge paragraph to a guy who already showed me he's not interested? I just realized, you know what? I don't even think I would bother sending that paragraph. I wouldn't even bother letting him know that I know he's lying. I don't even want to bother letting him know why I know he's lying. Like, honestly, I just don't see the point of sending anything. Because think about it. I send that message. He could either tell me that he's not lying, which he is. He could be like, you know what? You're right. I'm not being direct. I'm not interested in you. Why would I let him tell me twice that he's not interested in me? Once is enough. I think the third option would be like him not answering my message and just leaving me unseen. I don't even think I would bother sending it just so that he knows where my mind is at. So I just wouldn't send anything, I just wouldn't reply. Or if anything, I would just be like, oh, you know what? Makes sense. And just kind of like leave it at that. And I feel like we entertain and we engage with mixed signals a lot because we don't understand what they mean. We think disinterest only looks like someone telling you I'm not interested, when in reality there are multiple ways someone can let you know that they're not interested. Being inconsistent is one of them. Not pursuing you is another one. Giving you excuses as to why it won't work or why he's not showing up is another one. But here's the thing. When you find yourself attached with someone, it's just really hard to accept that, oh, this person is not interested in me, let me just walk away. It's really hard for you to accept that. So mixed signals, although they don't make sense, they feel better because it gives you a chance of, oh, he still likes me. I have enough reasons to think that he's interested, although you also have reasons to think he's disinterested. And here's the thing, someone who's truly interested in you wouldn't really be giving you signals of disinterest, but maybe you just don't know that yet. I know that I didn't know that back then. That took me to the first time that I was ever involved in a conversation like this, which was with my first love. Such a throwback, because I was like 16, 17. So in that specific scenario, I had something with this person. Like, this person came to my house, met my parents. It was a little bit more formal. It was definitely more stable than a situationship, I would say. In that moment, I was secure attachment. I love that for myself. So in that moment, I was secure attachment and I noticed inconsistency, and I just asked him, I was like, hey, I noticed you were a little bit off in our conversation yesterday. Is everything cool? And he just went straight to the point. He was like, this cannot keep going. Like, I'm not interested in pursuing this anymore. Whatever, whatever, whatever. I don't even think I replied. I just left him unseen and I was done with that. Was I heartbroken? 100%. What do you mean? I was supposed to marry this person. But I just left him unseen. I didn't really question it much. The moment that I started questioning it was when I posted something after that and he liked it and commented. I was like, I'm so confused. We started talking again, like we had a conversation after that. I remember I was low-key finding myself asking him for a second chance. I was like, no, like, let's try it. I know. I feel like cringing just thinking about it. I was like, let's try it. I know that it can work out. And he wasn't as interested as I was in having the conversation. I remember he was like, my phone is about to die. Like, I'm not gonna be able to have this conversation with you. I remember that I talked to my mom and I was crying about it. And she told me, Isabella, what do you do when your phone is dying? And I was like, it dies. I don't know. If it's dying, I can't have a conversation, I guess. And she just looks at me straight into my eyes and she tells me, if your phone is dying, you look for a charger. That's not a good enough reason to end the conversation. He just didn't want to have the conversation with you. I think in that moment, that just felt like a really harsh truth. I don't know how well I accepted it. Looking back, she was completely right. If he was truly interested in getting back together or in pursuing something with me, he would find the charger. And if he wasn't able to find a charger, he would continue the conversation once he was able to find one. What do you mean? I'm like trying to convince someone that this can work out and that this is worth pursuing. And that's exactly how I felt with the situationship guy. Like, I felt like I was convincing him, like I was untangling his mind and I was giving him sense. And I don't know why that felt okay for me, because it's not okay. Now let's go with my last example. This was my ex-boyfriend. There was one day we had a fight and then the next day he was breaking up with me. I remember I called him and I was like, I'm so confused. Like, why are you saying we're not on the same page? And he starts giving me all of these reasons of why we won't work. But all of these reasons are so stupid. There's no other word to describe it. All of those reasons are so stupid. And I know that because I was able to find a solution for all of them. Like, they weren't really problems, but somehow it still wasn't working for him. All of those reasons had a solution, but it still wasn't working for him. And I was just so confused. I was like, I don't understand. Now, did I lie? Did I give solutions and kind of like force myself to step into those solutions just so that he would stay? No, that's the thing. All of his problems felt like he was forcing them to appear as problems because they weren't really a thing. It's not like I was telling myself, okay, I will comply with everything he says so that he can stay. And I'm just so glad that I didn't do that. I don't know if I would have ever done that. If you did, there's no shame. Just learn from it. I remember I was so confused on why all of that was happening. It just didn't make sense in my mind. And you know why it didn't make sense? Because the next day, he decided to be honest with me. And he decided to let me know the real reason why he was breaking up with me. And it had nothing to do with all of those reasons that he gave me the day before, which is why I was so confused. When you're talking with someone and they're telling you about all these reasons why you can't be together and it doesn't make sense, it's because that's not the real reason. I'm not gonna go into details on what the real reason was with my ex-boyfriend. Like, I don't even think that's important. But most of the time when someone confuses their way out of a dynamic with you, they're not being direct with you. They're not being honest. That being said, if you know what to look out for, then you know that they're just not interested in you. And if you ever want to differentiate if someone is genuinely confused but still wants to be with you compared to someone who just doesn't want to be with you and is confusing you, I would watch out for how they approach the conversation. If they start the conversation and they are open to have a discussion with you, they let you know, look, this is how I've been feeling. What do you think about it? What do you think we can do? I feel like that person might be confused for whatever reason, but they're still interested in having something with you. But then if this person is just, I've been thinking and I feel like it's better for friends because I don't have enough time or I don't have enough space in my life or this or that or whatever they can come up with. If it sounds like they already made up a decision and they're just informing you, they're just trying to let you know that they're not interested in a nice way. And I don't want to like portray them as bad people because I feel like I've done that before, not with bad intentions. There was one time where I did tell someone I'm not looking for a relationship, and the reason why I did that was because I just didn't know how the other person would take rejection, and I didn't want them to feel bad about themselves because it had nothing to do with themselves. We just weren't aligned in that sense. That being said, that was me 2-3 years ago. Is that something that I would use now? Probably not. I feel like now I'm just straight up not interested. So just keep in mind that if someone is confusing their way out of a dynamic with you, it's not necessarily because they have a bad intention. Some of them might have a bad intention, some of them might just be wasting your time and they just don't want to commit and that's why they're doing it. Other people might just not know how to reject other people. I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, the reason doesn't really matter because you're never gonna know the reason. You would know the reason if this person was being honest, and if this person was being honest, honest, they would just be direct. When you find yourself in that situation where someone just appears to be confused, either confused about if they like you, confused on if they want a relationship with you, confused on if they're able to have a relationship, if they have the emotional capacity or availability for that, I want you to stop excusing their confusion and stop entertaining it, making it make sense in your mind as to why this person is confused, and ask yourself, is their confusion attractive to me? I don't know about you guys, but the more I think about it, the less attractive I think it is. Because what do you mean you're confused? What do you mean you're not sure if you want to date me? You're not sure if you like me? You're not sure if you're ready for a relationship? And I feel like what's more unattractive of all of that is just me being put in a position where I have to convince the other person that they do like me or that I am likable. We could make this work if they're willing. Putting the effort is worth it. Convince the other person of whatever I could ever convince them for. That's just not attractive. Think about it. If I have to convince you to be with me, you either don't like me or you're not ready for a relationship. Whichever one it is, I just can't have a relationship with you. Both of them don't work for me. If liking me doesn't come easy to you, or just dating doesn't come easy to you, we definitely shouldn't be dating. So if you're currently entertaining the idea of, oh, well, this person likes me, I'm just not sure why they're being inconsistent, do you find that confusion attractive? Like, when you think of that person that you want to date, is the first one that comes up someone who's confused about you, someone who's confused about if they're able to have a relationship or not? Like, that's what you're looking for? Like, you're telling me that when you sign up on dating apps, you're looking for someone who's confused? You're looking for someone who doesn't know if they should swipe right or left on you? You're looking for someone who doesn't have emotional capacity but is somehow on the dating app? Confusion is unattractive, and I feel like the main reason why people tend to entertain it and engage with it, it's because they haven't really asked themselves what they want. Like, you're dating someone and you're focusing more on the other person than on yourself. If you're dealing with someone who's giving you mixed signals and you actually take the time to pause and ask yourself, do I find mixed signals attractive? You will either say no and realize, oh, this person is actually not attractive to me anymore, or you will say yes and stop complaining about it. But you don't do that. You keep entertaining it because you think, oh, there's a question that needs to be solved. There's uncertainty in this situation. Let me try to overanalyze it and overthink it and hyperfixate on all the details to make it certain. I'm sorry. If they're confused about you, they don't like you. And even if it actually meant that this person did like you, do you want someone who doesn't fully choose you? There's an abundance of things you could want, and you're telling me that out of all of the things you could want, you want someone who's confused about you? You want someone who's not sure if they're ready for a relationship? Because I don't think you do want that. It's just crazy to me because we actually don't have to sit there and kind of like decipher this person. We don't have to analyze what they mean or what actions indicate that they do like me and then what actions indicate that they don't like me. You could just ask yourself, what do I want? And not just, oh, do I want this person? No, like, what do I want? And does this person align with what I want? And I do not care if this person is physically everything that you're looking for or has the majority of the things that you look in a personality. If this person is confused about you, if this person is confused on if they want something with you, if you're the person for them, if they have the capacity for it, if this is something they still want to pursue or not, it's a no. No, they're not confused. They just don't like you. Like, honestly, I want you to take a pause from dating until someone being confused about you and someone being unsure becomes unattractive. Because think about it. Technically, you will have like one partner at a time. Hopefully, you're gonna have one partner at a time. And you're telling me that out of everyone in the whole world, that person that you decide you want to be with isn't sure about you? That's who you want to date? Someone that you have to watch videos to decipher their behavior and see if they like you or if they don't? And the thing is, the focus is not on the other person. They will only give you as many mixed signals as you let them. It might feel upsetting considering that you're attached to this person or you have feelings for this person, but that is something you can deal with. You are strong enough to get over that. You'll survive. Like, I need you to realize that you can want the most for yourself, or you could literally want anything for yourself, and someone who's confused about you doesn't have to be in that list. Obviously, this is easier said than done, and obviously, this is being said after so many experiences where I entertained someone being confused about me. As I said, there is no shame if you have been that person or if you are that person. If anything, I just want to validate you. Like, it's really upsetting when you like someone and this person is just giving you mixed signals and you're confused, because I feel like deep inside you do know that this person doesn't like you. I feel like you do know it, and that's why you're questioning their mixed signals. That's why you're analyzing their behavior, because deep down you're not sure. And I just want you to know that you can be with someone who's sure about you. But in order to be with that person who's sure about you, you have to stop entertaining those who are not. And I am so sorry if the person that you like isn't sure about you. I'm sorry if all the people that you've dealt with happen to never be sure about you. I am so sorry if you've just had negative experiences. I understand how upsetting it is, how frustrating it is, how discouraging it is, because it almost gives you the sensation of, when is it going to be better? When am I actually going to find this person? I think right now the focus shouldn't be when we're going to find this person, but rather, what do I want and what are my preferences in whoever I'm dating, and how does interest actually look like? And in the same way, how does disinterest actually look like, so that I can keep an eye out for that? Not in a sense of I'm going to anticipate disinterest every time I talk with someone, but more like, if someone happens to tell me that they're not interested in me in a different way, in I'm busy, I don't know if I'm ready, in any of those different ways that they could express their disinterest, I will be mindful of that. Like, I look back to those versions and I don't even want to think how it was from the other person's perspective, of having me in front of them telling them like, no, like, we can make this work. Like, I don't want to really think of that, because it doesn't really matter. I truly feel like the past should only be either to enjoy our good memories and learn from our mistakes. Like, I don't want to sit there and cringe at the idea of what did they think about me? What did they actually mean when they said that? How did it take so long for me to realize that they weren't interested? Like, it doesn't matter. Whatever they thought doesn't matter. Like, it truly doesn't matter. Didn't make me less of a person, didn't really influence any future relationships I had, and it didn't stop me from growing and learning. So I'm like, please guys, don't shame yourself. This has been everyone. I think everyone just kind of like takes turns into entertaining mixed signals until it actually hits that there are no mixed signals. There's just either they like you or they don't. If you haven't watched the movie He's Just Not That Into You, I totally recommend it. And I just want you to think of those characters and realize, I don't see them as a less version of themselves just because they thought that person was into them. I see them and I not only see myself in them, but I see the human in them. I see the reason why they thought that other person was interested. And I see them actually accepting the idea that the other person is not interested and adapting their lives to it. And that is so respectable. Like, I want you to have that thought process and that level of consideration with yourself. In the same way that you wouldn't think less of someone else for doing the same thing that you did, I don't want you to think negative of yourself. We're literally here to learn. Some people learn from experience, other people learn from movies, other people learn from watching videos or from the experiences someone else had. Just keep that in mind. It doesn't matter what you did, it matters what you do with what you did and what you're gonna do going forward. And just one last reminder, you don't have to date someone who's confused. You don't have to date someone you have to convince that you're enough or that they're ready for it. You don't have to date someone who's giving you mixed signals. You don't have to entertain mixed signals. You don't have to find it attractive. You don't even have to send a message. Like, that's how little you have to do. Like, you literally could just leave them undelivered. It's as easy as that. Ask yourself what you truly want. Accept that you don't have to entertain anything that doesn't align with what you want. Don't take disinterest personal and entertain what aligns with what you want. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this video and you really like that idea of not choosing those who don't choose you, I do have another video where I talk about choosing those who choose you. You should definitely check that out. Before I leave, check out my nails. Also, my hair. It's so crazy because a few weeks ago, I saw my hair and I wasn't really feeling my layers, and I was like, maybe I should just cut my hair to my shortest layer. And then today, I'm just so in love with my layers. I'm really happy that I didn't cut my hair. Can you believe that I cut my own hair? Like, I trimmed my hair recently and it looks amazing. Slay. Anyway, check out my channel and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.